Hello everyone, my name is Tyler with Up North Aperture, a real estate media company, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the dreaded cleaning your home when you're preparing for real estate photos. This is the second part in our series, how to prepare your home when listing your home on the market. And the goal of this series is to really make sure that the average homeowner knows what they're supposed to be doing when they're listing their house on the market before they get photos taken, what they can do within their own means to make the house look as good as possible without spending thousands of dollars to do so. So in this video, I'll be focusing on things that are gonna stand out more or less versus things that you should just do in general cleaning tips. These are gonna be more focused to what a camera's gonna see and what's gonna stand out if you don't do it. So with that, thanks for being here and let's dive right in. So you're at what I would say is the most dreaded part for the average person when it comes to listing their house on the market, and that is cleaning your home. And this is a very subjective step because just like everything else, my home is often a lot less clean than, say, my parents' home, who are avid cleaners. Their house always looks spotless. So if you live like me, there's always kind of a little bit of clutter. There's always some stuff going on. There's always some hustle to deal with. And things get kicked to the wayside, and therefore things are dirtier than normal. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna break it down into two kind of steps or parts to kind of really give you an overview. I'm gonna break it down into general cleaning tips, which are going to be kind of just overarching things to do for the actual house as a whole, not just specific to each room. And then I'm going to break it down by room. Each room is going to kind of have a few set specific things that you should do that stand out particular to that room. And we're going to move through each room, just kind of making sure that you understand what matters to a camera and what doesn't. So we're going to focus on what the camera sees, not so much of what you'll see during a showing. We want to get The goal of this is to get the most people into your home, and to do that you want to make the home look good. I don't want you focusing on something that's not going to make a difference. I want you to focus on the things that the camera sees. The very first tip I'm going to focus on is the floors, and this seems counterproductive because it's going to be one of the last things you actually go about cleaning, but that being said, it showcases in every single photo. So I want you to just take note of what condition the floor is in. Carpets, especially high traffic areas, get matted down, so make sure you vacuum that, especially prior to the photo shoot, maybe the day before, but keep in mind that they show up in every photo, so making them look as good as possible is encouraged. The second part of that is that the hardwood floors or linoleum floors or anything that's not carpeted show a lot of footprints in photos, especially if there's a glare or reflection from the sun coming through the windows. It shows up extremely well, and you can kind of hide that with some tools with the camera, but any good practice is to for a hardwood floor or a linoleum type floor, tile floor, make sure you Swiffer it, and then if you've got a second to take a mop or like one of those scrub pads, just give it a quick wipe down with that. It'll make the floor look so much better, and it'll make the room or the house appear way cleaner in the photographs. The second general tip is going to be focus on the windows. If you're like me and you live in an area with a lot of trees or a lot of pollen, the windows, especially by the fall, tend to look absolutely filthy. So at least give them a good wipe down. I know that on second level story buildings, that's not always an option to go and clean the outside of the windows. If you've got the time and you've got the wherewithal and your windows are that dirty, it might be worth either paying someone or trying to get up and clean them yourselves. However, don't hurt yourself climbing up to the second or third story of your house trying to wipe down the windows. It's really not worth it. So the last general tip, which is pretty straightforward, is walk through your house with a Swiffer pad or a dust rag and just wipe down all your major surfaces. If you just get all that little film of dust off of all your surfaces and any light fixtures, I promise those three things right there will make your home feel and look so much cleaner, not only in photos, but just in general. So that's it for general purpose. Pretty straightforward, and if you do those three things, I promise it'll only take you about a half hour to an hour to get all that done depending on the size of your house, and it will get you 50% of the way there to making your home feel extremely clean. Those little things make a huge difference. So now I'm gonna step into each room, and I'm gonna focus on the specific main rooms a house have. I'm not gonna focus on weird, unique rooms you might have or something like that. So we're just gonna focus on the primary stuff. So the first room we're going to start with is the kitchen, because it's one of the main focusing points in a lot of houses. Go through and wipe down all of your main appliances, especially stainless steel. They show grease, they show fingerprints, and there's probably a lot more dirt and grime on the outside of all of those appliances than you even realize. A little splatter when you're cooking travels a lot further, and over time, if you're not paying attention, it accumulates and builds up. So go through with some 409 or all-purpose cleaner of some sort and give those a good wipe down. The second part of a kitchen is the faucet and the top of the sink. Generally, the camera's not placed high enough that you can see down into the sink, but give it just a good wipe down with all-purpose cleaner again. Just make it shine a little bit, get any dust or grime out of there that may have accumulated or water spots, and it'll make that photos look so much better. So now I want to focus on your entryway, and your entryway is kind of the first impression after the front photos of the house. It's the first thing someone will see when they're looking at a showing, and it's also the first thing that will kind of showcase stepping through that front door. So if you've already dealt with the floor and you wiped down all your surfaces as is, the only thing you really need to focus on with your entryway is your front door. I want you to just look at the front door, especially from the front, but also from the inside, and just give it a good wipe down with a wet rag. A lot of times, especially outside, dirt and muck kind of kick up to it with dirty shoes or rain, and you can get a lot of splatter, especially if it's a white or lighter colored door. That showcases a lot more than you probably notice. And if you're like me, you walk past, you don't even realize how dirty it's gotten until you actually take the time to think, I'm gonna go clean that right now. So a couple of tips for the bathroom, and there are a couple. The first is going to be, you're going to want to Windex the mirror, especially if this is a spot where you brush your teeth. There's usually a lot of splatter, but even washing hands can kick up water and water droplets that can get on the mirror, and it can just impede photos. They show up a ton in photos, and it looks less than desirable. So the second part, just like the kitchen, you're just going to wipe down the countertop and the faucet. You're going to make that look good. Photos are taken from just above that level, so those really showcase within the photos as well. Next is going to be your living room, and your living room should be pretty straightforward. If you've already dusted and dealt with your floors and all that kind of stuff, it really isn't going to be that large of an area. I just want you to focus on one thing specifically, and that is your ceiling fan. Your ceiling fan collects a lot of dust if you've got one, and this goes for any ceiling fan in the house. Just go up there if you can and wipe that down. Sometimes there's like an overgrowth of that dust and bacteria on those blades, and if you run it often, it's not going to be as bad as if it's just sitting there, but focus on your ceiling fan. So bedrooms are going to be interesting because you live in a bedroom every single day. You're not, you're getting dressed in there, you're changing, you're getting in and out of bed, you've got a fan, you've got charging cords, whatever else might be in that room. So you're really going to focus on that room in the fourth and final step, which is that last minute kind of prep stuff. But for now, just take maybe some dirty clothes, see where stuff is. Your hamper should be hidden away or even not in the room. Hide it in the closet and just make sure the general cleanliness of the room is just up to par. So the last room I want to talk about is the laundry room, and it's often forgotten because, it's just not a spot that people think to focus, but a lot of people care what a laundry room looks like, especially in photos. So the one thing I want you to focus on is just wiping down the laundry room as a whole, the washer and dryer specifically. So any countertops, obviously wipe those down, but the washer and dryer can get a little film on it, especially the dryer, depending on where the lint trap is. The lint will kind of get everywhere, and then the moisture from clothes and stuff like that will kind of leave a film. So just give that a good wipe down with a wet cloth or something, and that should be good enough. If you've got a little extra time, move some stuff around. You don't want like all the laundry detergent buckets and stuff sticking out everywhere. If you can kind of clean that up to make it look a little nicer, it'll look good, but not needed at the moment. So there you have it. Those are the main tips I would give somebody when they are cleaning and preparing for a photographer. Now there's obviously a lot more you could possibly do. Go ahead and wipe down those railings. Go ahead and clean the blinds. Do all the little nitty-gritty things that you want to do. However, if you've got 3 kids and you don't have time to do that, or maybe your photographer is coming tomorrow, this video is for you. So with that, good luck with the cleaning process, and we'll see you in step 3, which is staging. Thanks. Have a great day.